here in a second. And really today in the next slide, you'll see our topic is transferable skills. And you might be wondering, why are we talking about that? Well, it's twofold. Really, as we all know, St. Joe is undergoing an expansion, and with expansions, there is an increase in hiring. So for those on the call who may be, handling those interviews, who may be looking for new talent, or even in Salt Lake and Missoula as you're doing interviews, there, it's super important to understand the concept of transferable skills. Likewise, to those of you who may not be interviewers, but who maybe are looking for internal growth, it's a great opportunity to think about how soft skills, as they're defined on the slide here in a moment, can fill in for any technical gaps that you may have. For instance, if you're looking at a manager role, but are currently at a supervisor role, and maybe you don't have all the years of experience, what soft skills can you bring to the table to really add value to your resume? So soft skills are an attribute or personality trait that helps individuals effectively interact with others. So almost think of this as the soft skills behind PACT, for instance. And thank you, Michael, for going through that definition. It led right into this. Versus hard skills are the job-specific abilities or knowledge learned through training or hands-on experience. That could be a degree, that could be a certification. It could be all the time you've spent on our slice line, for instance, and you know how to work that slice line. So again, this really shows soft skills and hard skills show how potential new hire will adapt to new challenges or changes, interact with coworkers and supervisors, and even approach problems, sometimes filling in technical gaps as needed. If you go to the next slide, I have some examples of a few of these different transferable skills. So really, they fall into different categories like communication. Can candidates speak effectively and listen attentively? Any problem can be solved or getting close to a solution if we just listen attentively, right? Research and planning. Can the candidate identify problems and imagine alternative solutions? Interpersonal skills. Can they develop rapport with coworkers and customers, and how do they do that? And even creative thinking. Do they show curiosity and imaginative thinking? Do they ask questions during the interview, etc.? Now, we can go on and on all day, but in the next slide, I want to offer you some examples of ways to learn about this after our call today. So there's a few LinkedIn Learning video examples up there, such as how to conduct a behavioral interview. I put that on there because Dailies does behavioral style interviews where we ask you questions like, tell me a time when. Really, this gets at past behavior informing future behavior and transferable skills. So check that out. Questions that reveal transferable skills. There's a few in there that might interest you. 10 skills that work across industries. Say we have a new candidate coming in from the pharmaceutical industry. How can that experience inform their work here potentially at Dailies? And then a few other behavioral style interview questions. So feel free to engage with that knowledge there in that learning moment. And if you have any questions, feel free to direct them to me over email or Teams. But thank you so much for your time today. I think I'm switching it over to Andrea next.